Hey guys, okay, goal for the day. Mount this 80-watt panel on the roof of my van using only magnets. Either freaking awesome or kind of sketchy. We will find out. Now, why would you want to do this? Because I don't want to freaking drill holes in the roof of my van. Are you kidding me? I'm still going to have to drill one hole, and that's going to be a sad day. That'll be for the solar gland where the wires for all the panels go through the roof. But this is going to save me a lot of drilling, I hope. Now the alternative to this would be to use VHB tape from 3M. I've heard it's pretty much the bomb. No panels lost with this stuff. Pretty cool. But I'd really like to be able to move my panels around. Probably not going to happen. But let's say I buy a new van in a few years. I want to be able to swap these out onto the other van like really easily. We'll mount these magnets with, this is like a Renogy or HQST Z-mount bracket. Pretty common, typical. This will go underneath there. We'll have two per mount, 8 per panel. Magnets, that is. Yeah, let's give it a shot. That's pretty slick. Good, very good feeling about this. What just happened? Oh. Okay, well, I kind of screwed up. I tightened it too tight. Gosh darn it. See the cracks there? That's a bummer, man. Okay guys, here goes. So right now I only have one magnet on each mount back here. My hope is that if I can't get it off, if I can't get the front off, maybe I'll be able to pull the back up, and then at that point it should be a lot easier to pull the whole thing up. Let's do this. Kind of nervous. Wow. That's actually beautiful. So it's definitely, I can lift it up. And man, it actually feels, I don't know, it pulls the whole roof up. That's awesome. Look, I'm just able to get it to slide a little bit. You know, we're gonna have to do some legit pull tests, but this is looking good. I'm into this so far. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pull test this here. So I got this luggage scale. It's got a max weight of 50 kilograms. Doesn't feel like it's taking 50 kilograms of pull to get this thing off, but we'll see what we get here. $18, $20, $26. So highest I saw there was 30 kilograms. And I still don't have the two magnets on in the back here. That shouldn't matter too much for the front pull. It's going to matter for this side pull, but I still want to see. That was about the same, 31 kilograms. So maybe a little bit stronger with the rear magnet on. So yeah, I guess after those pull tests and just moving this thing around, it's obviously nowhere near 900 pound pull, and I wasn't expecting that. I mean, maybe you could see 400 pounds if you pulled from one edge of the panel. But the one cool thing is, man, it's not budging. Like there's no way this thing is moving back and forth in the wind. Maybe over time it may vibrate. My worry at this point would be just air getting underneath it and pulling it up somehow. So yeah, it may take some math to figure that out. I think it's probably good, but it'll take some more testing. So another piece of good news, I'm not seeing any cracking here in the magnets. I was a little worried about that when I'm just like putting this thing down. The magnets snap kind of hard, and these tend to be a little bit brittle. Even so, this one here in the right, there you go. That's good light. You can kind of tell. So that's when I cracked because I over tightened it, but doesn't seem to be an issue, which I'm pretty happy about. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and test this out. Yeah, I've got 4 magnets along the side, hopefully to prevent any like side wind from picking it up. Might be good, like as you're driving by trucks or something. And then, yeah, 3 along the leading edge there. Whereas I only have 2 on the back and then 1 on the inside. So let's try it. Okay, so that's, and I don't know, that's pretty freaking solid. Like, I can't get that to budge. We'll go ahead and do a pull test here. So I don't know, it's coming in a little less actually than I was seeing about 25 kilogram pull on that, whereas this was more at 30. Let's try it from the front. That was about the same. So yeah, I'm not quite sure yet. We're getting about 25 kilogram pull from the side, and about the same from the front. Whereas was getting about 30 kilograms with the Z bracket mounted panels. Not totally sure why those numbers are different. I think I have more confidence in this setup though, just because it's a little closer to the roof, so there's going to be it's less likely to get some air into there and pick it up. Okay, so after doing the pull test, comparing these 2 panels, which maybe isn't totally fair because they're different size panels, but we're still pulling with 4 magnets along an edge and another 4 magnets along the edge. Should be similar, but some surprising results that really aren't that surprising now that I think about it. So as you can see, these magnets are distributed all the way along the edge, whereas we just have 2 magnets here, 2 magnets on either end basically. And we're getting a 25 kilogram pull up from the middle of this edge, whereas this one is about like 31, again from the middle of the edge. And I think what's happening is this setup here allows the panel to bend while I'm pulling it, and it's evenly distributing the load across all 4 magnets along the edge. Whereas when you're pulling this from the center, you're basically, most of the force is going to be on these 2 inside magnets. And then as soon as those come up, then the force is on the outside magnet. So really, it's really only 2 magnets that are ever holding it down at one point. And you could kind of feel that in the pull test. It's a little bit of a staggered release, whereas this is a little more like immediate. Okay, so this project has been going on long enough that I've had to get a haircut in the middle of it. So that happened. Cut it myself. Thank you very much. So I realized that I'm really not going to have the confidence to drive with this on my roof without actually testing it. So what I did is I've set up a strain gauge in here that's at the same height as one of these mounts, and it's set up so that we shouldn't see too much shear force. What I really want to see is just any force that's like perpendicular to the magnets. So there's a couple O-rings in there to give it a little bit of flex. And then the other thing I did, I really want to see what the airspeed is doing up there. I've heard that going over the top of a roof, the airspeed can like be exponentially faster than your moving velocity. I also wanted the pitot tube there just so it would account for any headwind or tailwind, so we're seeing what the actual airspeed is right at the panel. So this is wired up to an Arduino, and that will run to a computer that we'll have in the car. And then once we've got all this logged, we'll graph it and hopefully have some useful information. So let's go ahead, put it on the van and freaking test it. The panel we're testing is mounted a little farther forward than where it actually will be, which will be in line with the panel on the right there. That's just so we're kind of stress testing it. I think the forces will be a little higher up front there, so let's give it a shot. And then I'm going to put a little mark just in front of the front magnet there, and we'll see if it moves back a bit. I'm not too concerned about that on pavement. On gravel, man, wouldn't be surprised if it moves back a little bit, but we'll see. Okay guys, so we're going about 45 miles an hour. Kilometers. Our airspeed sensor is reading about 60. So that's not, I think the airspeed sensor is probably not super accurate. It's actually better than I thought though. But if you look at the tension on the panel here, it's only at 0.29 kilograms. So yeah, now we're going 55. It's still only at 0.16. And we can go all the way up to, we were getting a pull test of 20 kilograms where the panel was coming on. So we got so much room to spare at this point. That's freaking awesome. I'm stoked. Okay, so we're going about 65 now. And again, the tension on the corner is about 0.23 kilograms. That's so crazy. We still have so much room. So I guess next step is we gotta go test this thing on some gravel. I'm kind of cringing for my car, but I guess it's a pretty good test. Okay, just driving on that was like 10 minutes of some pretty aggressive washboard. And the thing didn't budge an inch. So good. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this here. Should have used a different color. See that mark there? So yeah, the thing didn't move at all. There's that slight mark that I Sharpied in there. So that's pretty amazing. I'm pretty darn happy about that. Okay, so I've got this thing mounted basically as far up as it can go until I run out of flat surface here. And we're just gonna see what kind of stress that puts on that front magnet there. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so we're testing it out with the panel as far forward as it can go. And we're not going very fast yet, like 35. And it's So there's the panel in its forward mounted position. And even at that, we're seeing about like, maybe 6% of what kind of force it could actually handle. So we're well within like any kind of safety margin there, which is so cool. Okay, so the test results got me freaking psyched. Like we were maybe at 5 or 6% of what these magnets can actually take, which is pretty darn cool. I do have a flat roof, which makes these pretty applicable, but I don't know. Like even when the thing was mounted all the way forward, sort of the leading edge of the van looked something like that. So there was some air hitting the leading edge of the panel and coming up as well. And we're still seeing like way under what the thing can handle. I like this setup just because I can really move the panels wherever I need to. And so let's say I don't have enough panels, so I need to put another one up there and rearrange the stuff because of that. That makes this like really easy. I'm sure for some people, they got their whole plan totally dialed out for what they're going to build, but for me, I'm kind of a wing it person, so it's going to be nice to, move these around if I need to. So, well, let's say I sell the van in 3 years and want to swap panels over to something new. I can do that super easily and at no cost. The alternative would be to use a VHP tape there, but I don't know. It's kind of a hassle, like pulling that off. There's some work involved there. So let's see. Initially, I was mounting these magnets. I tried both, but I tried mounting the magnets flush with the frame of the panel. And after seeing the results, I'm totally just gonna use the brackets, just so the panels are higher off the roof and they're getting more airflow and the panel's a little more efficient. Where originally I was thinking mount them flush just so that the panel will be lower and there's a little more margin for safety, but there's already tons, so I'm not worried about it. These are 112-pound magnets. I'll put a link in the description below, as well as HQST Z bracket. Red Imagery makes them as well. They're pretty standard. And then lessons learned from this whole thing. Let's see. So do use the Z brackets. When you're tightening the magnets, just tighten until it's just taut, and then maybe 1/8 of an inch, but be super careful. Definitely go on the light side. I cracked a couple of them from over tightening, and they're actually still working, which is pretty crazy. Like when you pull the panel off, like the magnet comes with it, which is pretty cool. But because of that, since they aren't very tight, definitely use a locking nut as well as Loctite. There are a lot of like nuts and bolts as part of this system, which means there's some rattle factor. But I think if you use Loctite and locking nuts, I think you're fine. I will do a long-term review and just check in and see how it goes. Oh, just make sure when you mount them that the magnets are flush with the roof. There are a couple lines in my car that are raised a 1/2 inch, and when they're right next to those, they don't sit totally flush, so I had to be a little bit careful about that. There's also a little bit of curve on, like if you're looking from the front of the van, there's a little bit of curve this way, and there's not a lot. I could see that being an issue for some, but I do think that these have enough flex in them that once you set the panel down, it tends to like actually conform to the roof, which is pretty cool. But just make sure you check. So overall, totally viable, great option. This is what I'm going to do, probably on future vans as well. So pretty excited about that. I guess this magnet setup is going to be a tad more expensive than a VHP mount. 8 magnets for a single panel cost me $24. Let's see, I think I got 8 of these for like $10. So that and then some like mounting some nuts and bolts to mount all this stuff. So that's like what 30. Probably ends up paying like $32-$33 per panel that you're gonna mount, versus what for VHB it's probably gonna be like, yeah. So it definitely costs a little more. For me, I think it's probably gonna be worth it. Yeah, if you found any of this helpful, please hit the subscribe button. That helps me out a ton, helps the channel out. I'll keep doing projects like this. Hopefully it helps you guys. And thanks again for watching. I had a lot of fun doing this.